Reading for today's scripture comes from Matthew 25, 14 to 30, New International Version. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another he gave 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one who put 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of the servants returned to settle accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5 and said, Master, you have entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Then the man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you had not sown, gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid. I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here it is, what belongs to you. His master replied, You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I had not sown, and gather where I had not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the banker, so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw this worthless servant outside, into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God. I'll be honest. This parable has always been one of my least favorite parables. I don't like it. Doesn't seem fair. I mean, the one who has a lot is going to get even more, and the one who has very little is going to have that taken away from them. That doesn't sound a lot like Jesus, does it? No, it doesn't sound real fair either. The one who has a lot is going to get more, the one who has a little bit is going to lose it. And then, the poor servant, he doesn't do anything wrong. It's not like he does something bad, and he gets tossed out where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth and horrible things. It just doesn't seem fair. I never liked this parable. Until one day, I was thinking about it. And I thought, I don't think Jesus is threatening these people who are listening. I think he's giving them a warning. And a warning is very different than a threat. And I began to re-look at this parable. But every time I read this parable, I'm drawn to that third servant. And since we're looking at parables from the backside here, we're going to look at what do you think that servant would have to say if he was able to talk to us. And I think he'd say something along these lines. You know, I haven't been real successful in a lot. I really wanted to do good for my master. I don't know. I tried. It just doesn't seem to work. You know, I once had some money. My mom died about 10 years ago, and she left me a little bit of insurance money. And I came into this money, and everybody told me I should invest it. And so I put it in the stock market. It was right before the market collapsed in 2007. And I lost all that money. And I look at the stock market and it goes up and down. And I hear stories about my friends who save a little bit and put it in and they lose it. So I decided I would protect this money. My friends heard that I had a bag of gold, and they kept trying to say, you know, the master won't miss any of it. If you just take a little bit, let's have a party. They wanted me to go buy beer or something with it, throw a party. And I said no. And I knew they would try and sneak it, so I went out behind my house and I dug a hole and I buried it and I covered it up really well and I put grass back over it so nobody would know where it was. And I get tempted too easily, and I get money occasionally, and my friends suggest we go out, and we spend it, and it's gone. And so I kept that money safe. I didn't touch it. I didn't listen to my friends' suggestions. I didn't borrow against it and take some. And I didn't risk it because I didn't want to lose it. Well, I dug the money up and I went back to the palace the day we heard the master had come back, and I was so excited. For once in my life, I had not messed up. I was able to return to my master every penny he entrusted me. I kept it safe. Well, I walked into the palace, and I quickly saw what was going on. My two friends had been given more than I had. And they're good with this stuff. My one friend had been given 5, but he's always been really good with investing, and he understands numbers and dollars, and I just don't, it's like a foreign language to me. But he took it and he made 5 more. And the master was so happy with him for making 5 more. And my other friend, he took 2 and he made 2 more. The master was so happy with him. And I got scared. I knew I had to tell the master something about why I hadn't made any more money. And so as I gave the master the money back, I said, Master, I know how angry you get when you lose money, and I've seen you get angry when you lose. And so I kept your money safe and didn't lose any of it. And here's back the whole bag that you gave me. You can have it. He was so angry. He fired me right on the spot. And he threw me out of the palace and out onto the streets where there's a famine going on, and I don't know what I'm going to eat now. And yes, it's where I belong. You know, when I got this job in the palace, my mom, she told me, you know, you're reaching too high. You don't belong there. You won't succeed there. And I guess she was right. I've never succeeded at anything. No one in my family has. I was the first one to get a job at the palace, and my mom was right. I didn't belong there. I belong out here in the street. I can't get there. I mean, I think of that timid soul who tried, and he kept the money safe, and he's being condemned. Probably did his best, and he was frightened of the master. And yet he gets condemned outside. And my heart bleeds for that timid soul as I read the parable. Now the parable is about judging. And it's a parable about the fact that life isn't fair. Does anyone here think life is fair? Anyone? Does anyone think this parable is even fair? No. We don't. But life isn't fair. And we know that. We all get given different talents and different abilities. I would love to be able to play a musical instrument. I'd love to be able to play like Scott or Mary Ann. And if I took piano lessons for a year when I was a kid, and after a year of piano lessons, I could play hot cross buns. If anyone's ever taken piano, you know hot cross buns requires you to play 3 notes with 1 finger. It took me a year to get to that point. I have no musical ability. And I would love to be able to sing like our choir. I love to sing in my car. But nobody has ever thought I was a good singer except one person. And that was my daughter, Anna. And unfortunately, then she turned 3. I was just not blessed with a beautiful singing voice. I was not blessed with musical talent. God chose not to give me those abilities. And each of us get given different talents and different abilities. And some people get a lot of talents and abilities. Other people only get a few. God doesn't even promise we're all going to get the same number of talents and abilities. Life isn't fair that way. But what is fair is that God judges us, not on a straight line. He doesn't say, Adam, you're in trouble because you never sang a beautiful aria. No. God judges us according to how we use the talents and abilities that we're given. And so the one who got 2, he was judged successful because he earned 2 more. The master didn't say to him, hey, wait a second. The first guy got 5 and made 5. Why didn't you make 5? To be successful, you have to make 5. No. He said, you had less, but you still used that less and made. And so you're blessed too. And we all receive a treasure in our life. Each and every one of us has got a treasure of infinite value. And that is our very life, our very being. Our being is a gift from God who created us in His image and breathed the breath of life into us. And then God says, take this gift that I've given you, your life, and use it. Use it. Use it to build my kingdom. Use it to build disciples, to share my message. Use it to give hope where there is no hope. But that third servant, he didn't use the gift he was given. He hid it away. He ignored it. And we all know of people or places who are like this. There are places in our very community. There are people in our community where the light at the end of the tunnel has gone out for them. They no longer believe there's the possibility of anything better. They've lost hope because they've been beaten down so many times. Life has beaten them down. Nobody expects them to succeed, and they don't expect themselves to succeed. And they've given up. That's this third servant. He's given up. All his life, he's been told, you won't succeed. You can't do it. And in that culture, he's given up hope. There are people around us who have given up that hope, like this third servant. And they can't find hope. They can't begin to see that light at the end of the tunnel until they're shown the light at the end of the tunnel. They no longer even believe it's possible to have something better. This servant didn't believe it was possible for him to succeed. So he took the only thing he knew how to do, and that's hide the money and not try and use the gift. When I was in Africa a few years back, I had the privilege of spending some time with a former United Methodist missionary, John Emery. John had spent his entire career, his entire lifetime in Africa, moving to Congo when he was less than a year old. And he said in Zambia, where he lived, the culture was broken. The culture was so badly broken that the idea of theft and stealing things was so ingrained in the culture, they couldn't get rid of it. In fact, if you were a guy, you wanted to get married in Zambia, in this part. It's up in the Copper Belt near Ndola, if any of you can envision a map of Zambia. Can anyone envision a map of Zambia? Didn't think so. Okay. It's in the northwestern part of Zambia, near Ndola. He said, if you were a man and you wanted to get married, you had to go out and steal something of significant value and give it to your future father to prove that you could take care of his daughter in hard times. And this culture was so broken that they couldn't even envision a circumstance where you could earn a living doing something besides stealing. And so people had given up even trying to do something productive. In fact, the main industry was chopping down trees and burning them to create charcoal. to go sell in the main city, the capital, Lusaka. And as a result of this, most of the northwestern part of Zambia, near Noah, was rapidly deforested. And the ground was getting bad. And as it was being more and more deforested, there were fewer trees to grow, make charcoal. People were just giving up. It was sad. And he said he had tried everything to change the culture. He started doing big missionary revivals. And he said everybody in the area had become a Christian 20 times. I know when I was in Kenya, I got invited to preach at a revival. And I preached this sermon at this revival, and behind me, I could hear things clinking, and I could hear tinkling noises, and there was all kinds of activity behind me as I was preaching. And I had no clue, I didn't want to turn around and see what was going on, but something was going on behind me. And then I sat down as I finished my sermon. And the main pastor got up and gave the altar call. The altar call was, if you would like to receive Jesus Christ in your life as your Lord and Savior, and receive an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola, please come forward and receive Jesus and your Coca-Cola. Everyone came forward. There was a denominational official there. It was not United Methodist. I won't name what denomination I was preaching at that day. And he was so excited because he was going to get to report back to the U.S. that we had 270 people saved at this revival. Never mind the fact that most of those 270 had been saved the week before to get a Coca-Cola. In fact, if you looked, when I was in Zambia, I was staying at one point with a leader of the Church of the Nazarene. And he said, if you look at the conversion numbers that we send to the U.S., over the last decade, we've saved everyone in Zambia 6 times. But even with all those conversions, it wasn't making a difference. It wasn't changing anything in the area. So John decided, well, I'm going to try and improve their life by giving them some jobs. And so he went out and he bought 5 lumber mills in 5 villages in the area. Within 3 months, none of the lumber mills were working because all of the equipment had been stolen. But it was the culture. And the culture was broken. And the people didn't see the possibility of something better. So John decided, people need to see the possibility. If they don't see the possibility of change, if they don't experience the possibility of something better, they're never going to want something better. So he went out and he created beehives. These really cool beehives that get strung up in a tree and tied off so they're hard to steal. They're hard to steal. And then you just leave it alone and the bees will take care of themselves. And he made 1,000 bees. And a little over 20 years ago, went out to the villages around where he was and just gave them away free to villagers. He said, if you put this in the tree, tie it up, take care of it to make sure it's not stolen, in 3 months I'll come back and I'll buy the honey. In 3 months he came back. Almost all of them were still there. And he bought the honey from the families. And by buying the honey, he almost, in every case, he at least doubled their annual income. Some places he quadrupled their annual income. And people got excited. Wow, look at this, I can make real money by just taking care of this. What else can I do? And neighbors saw that their neighbors suddenly had their income dramatically increased, and they said, can we do that too? So John started putting out more beehives, started making more. And as more beehives went out, people needed more bees. So an amazing thing happened. Some people started planting plants in their yard to attract bees, to grow their beehives, and get more honey to sell to John. And John noticed that some of these people had gotten excited and started planting plants. And he said to those people, hey, would you like to do even more? Come on back with me. And he put them in a discipleship program where they began learning about Jesus Christ. They began learning about Christian values and morality. And also began learning entrepreneurial and agricultural skills. And after about a year in this class, he said to them, would you like to partner with me? And he gave them sheep or chickens or pigs or cows or all kinds of different animals. He made them a little farm. He'd give them 2 cows, he'd give them 2 pigs, he'd give them 5 chickens. And they began to care for those. And as they began to care for them, they stopped stealing. And they began to plant more plants around them. 20 years later, the area of Zambia around Ndola is the only part of the country where the forests are coming back. And because the forests are coming back, you've got indigenous animals which were extinct there 20 years ago coming back. There's now giraffes, there's elephants, there's gazelle, and zebra in the area. And actually last year they had a report of a cheetah being spotted in the area. And so they've now got some tourists who are coming to the Ndola. Because John decided these people no longer even see the possibility. The light at the end of the tunnel that says there is a possibility to do something better had gone out for them. So John began to show them a better way. To let them experience the possibility of something better. And as they began to experience that possibility, they began to want something more. And something amazing happened. The timid servant, the one who had given up hope, began to get hope. And the one who had given up the possibility of ever doing something began to do something. And lives were changed for Jesus Christ. We, as the church, we as people who are so blessed to have Jesus Christ in our lives, to have the Holy Spirit filling our souls, we the people who are so blessed to have each other, to be called the hands and feet of Christ, are called now to go forth and to find those timid souls and to win them for Jesus Christ by showing them the hope that we have found, by allowing them to experience the joy that we have found, to help them find that light at the end of the tunnel and see their lives change. We, as Christ's hands and feet. Remember, Christ came not for the religious like us. He came for the lost and the hurting. And we, as the hands and feet of Jesus Christ, should read this parable, and our hearts should break. Our souls should weep for that timid soul. Because Jesus gives us a warning. If these timid souls don't find hope, if these timid souls don't rediscover that light, a horrible future awaits for them. And Jesus gives us that warning and calls us to go forth and help them, to use the gift God gave us, this life, the presence of the Holy Spirit in it, to bring hope to the hopeless, to bring light to those living in darkness, to offer them our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.